Hi, I'm Cher Safran with Share Wisdom Network and host of the Nautilus Book Awards Author Spotlight Series. Now celebrating 20 years of honoring better books for a better world, Nautilus Book Awards continues this important mission forward to spotlight visionary books to co-create a better world and more positive future. The Nautilus Awards embraces books from a wide spectrum of the publishing industry, which radiate hope and wisdom, inspiring and connecting our lives as individuals, communities, and planetary citizens. This is a vast and crucial conversation now more than ever. The Author Spotlight series offers opportunity to increase the volume and visibility of the authors' voices as found in these empowering Nautilus Award-winning books. Author Austyn Wells is with us here today, sharing insights from her Nautilus Award-winning book, Soul Conversations. A medium reveals how to cultivate your intuition, heal your heart, and connect with the divine, which won the Gold Award in the Religion, Spirituality, Other Traditions category. So I'm delighted to introduce you to Austyn. In addition to being an award-winning author, Austyn Wells is a spiritual medium, a soul gardener who empowers individuals to create soul-centered lives. A certified grief counselor, she combines intuition, mediumship, and shamanism with energy medicine and sacred ceremony. Austyn speaks at many national conferences, including the Sun Valley Wellness Festival and the Original Afterlife Conference. She'll be featured in the Bill Bennett's upcoming film, Facing Fear and Faith, along with Paul Selig, Dr. Joe Dispenza, and Bruce Lipton. Welcome, Austyn. It is so lovely to have you here today.
Thank you so much, Cher. I am so honored to be here and to be recognized by the Nautilus Book Awards.
It is really delightful, and I said to you before we got started, I don't want to ask you any questions until we get started in the interview, but I have lots to ask you. So your book is so beautifully written, number one, and it is so filled with amazing insights and guidance for how we can tap into our soul's wisdom. But I have to start at the beginning. So number one, what is a soul, and why do you call yourself a soul gardener?
Those are really good questions. I call myself a soul gardener because as I developed as a medium, I realized that the spirit world had a greater desire for healing. So as much as the sitter wished to connect with their loved ones in the spirit world equally wished to balance out the conversation by helping us heal. So I was drawn to add modalities to the things that I offer: hypnotherapy, shamanism, grief counseling, sacred ceremony, and all of those techniques allow me to really honor the journey of our souls, which to me is all about evolution. What is a soul? That's a big, big idea. To me, we begin as a distillation of the divine, part of collective unconsciousness. Then we choose to have an authentic experience and an individual experience. So we distill from that ether of infinite intelligence into a single soul. At that point, we're aligned with a soul group, a soul family, and we distill finally into a physical body and begin this journey as a human. So there are two aspects of our soul, which I think is really helpful because it explains why we can have two completely different ideas in our brain at the same time. There is the finite self, which is our human being. It's our personality. It's the definition of ourself as different than others. And it strives to have an independent voice. But the illusion that the finite self lives under is that it is alone. So the landscape of our emotions are singularly a human experience. So to complement that is our infinite self. And our infinite self is the part of our soul that always knows that we are connected to an infinite intelligence and that we are eternal. So you put those two people in one room, the soul, and it's very clear that there might be two very different conversations going on at the same time. So in my work, I noticed that there was a struggle between these two aspects of ourselves. And I wanted to present an idea and a journey and a hope for people to honor the dualism of their soul and find a different way of creating balance.
As a gardener. I love that term. This would be a great time for you to read from your book now. Would you read an excerpt?
I would love to. I would love to. This is from the beginning of the book. Today is Gregory's birthday. He would be 36. I saw him this afternoon from a spirit manifestation, just regular seeing. And he was wearing a silly hat shaped like a cake with candles on it. I thought you'd get a kick out of that. He also said that I shouldn't feel sad or nostalgic or anything because it was his birthday. I've had lots and lots of birthdays, Ma, and now I'm not there anymore for them. Are you going to feel bad every day because it might be one of my birthdays? Smart boy. The concept has come up a great deal lately, how there is not a distant heaven, but a present heaven. We seem to come in knowing, forget, and then remember, if we're lucky enough. Gregory's mom, honoring her son in spirit. She came to me as a last resort. She'd exhausted therapy and simply wanted to join her deceased son. It's not natural for a child to die. She didn't believe in spirit communication as it contradicted her beliefs. Yet something compelled her to transcend what she knew and search for a different understanding. A PhD in English, her mind had compartmentalized the happenings of her world until September 26th, when everything she held to be true imploded. During the years we knew each other, she went from a skeptic to being able to communicate with her own son. She worked harder than any client I have ever spent time with. Her fearlessness, defiance, and undying love touches my soul to this day. She may have come to me for guidance, but she changed me, and I will always be grateful. It takes courage to look at our light and our darkness with equal enthusiasm. Most of us avoid the more unconscious or dark aspects of ourselves. Perhaps this is why we feel so very lost when our lives present adversity. Yet within these moments of seeming darkness, the indelible light of our soul awaits. It's through our discovery and reawakening that true transformation begins. Perhaps it's the loss of a loved one, fear of reaching a certain age or surviving a pivotal or life-altering experience. These episodes raise questions that cannot be answered or solved by the mind alone. We may ponder, why am I here? What is the meaning of life? What is my purpose? Why do people die? Perhaps we will first seek outside of ourselves for someone or something to quench our confusion or satiate our yearnings for meaning, understanding, and purpose. However, the answers to the deeper quandaries of the human experience are not found outside of us. Instead, these dark nights of our soul are dormant spiritual opportunities to truly discover the meaning of our lives. When we stop grasping for external truth and begin surrendering into the darkness of what we do not know with openness, curiosity, and detachment, we accept the invitation to embark upon the invisible path of the soul.
That was so beautiful. And I'm wondering, Austyn, when did you start asking those questions in your life, and when did you discover that you had these insights and gifts?
I was blessed with a mom who wasn't the most nurturing woman. Lovely human being, just not nurturing. So when I had moments of adversity, very young in my life, and I'm talking about 5 years old, I sought I couldn't seek externally. I had to go inside. So I remember when I was 5 years old, I was sitting in my bedroom, and this seemed like a big problem at the time, but it probably wasn't that big for other people. But I was in a fashion show, and I was dressed as a bridesmaid with a huge amount of tulle. And I was worried that I was going to trip going up the stairs, and that would be embarrassing probably to my mom. So I wanted to ask for help. I needed comfort to know I'd be okay. The minute I sent that prayer up, almost like a balloon, the walls of my room started to morph, and all of these invisible souls filled my room. They weren't known to me, however, I was not afraid at all. And this one woman came to my side. She spoke to me soul to soul, heart to heart, and she comforted me by letting me know that all those people were there to help me. And what could they do? So I intuited or just kind of talked to her soul and said, I'm scared about tomorrow, about the runway. And all of a sudden, my room became two different realities. So I could see the runway of the next day becoming the reality of part of my bedroom. So I could witness the next day's events. I saw myself going up the stairs. I saw myself not tripping. I saw and felt then all of this enthusiasm and trust coming into my heart. And I felt myself being triumphant. Then she had me shift to be people in the audience so I could empathically feel their support of my soul. And once I had that validation, she finally had me feel the energy surrounding the entire room, which was this infinite intelligence. And I realized no matter what happened, I was going to be fine. The minute I had that realization, I was back completely conscious in my bed. The runway dissipated, that vision dissipated. Her presence remained. Many other people in the room had kind of faded. And she simply checked in with me and said, are you going to be okay? And I said, yeah, I think I'm going to be good. And then she just faded and I went back to sleep.
That is such a cool experience. And what you share in your beautiful book is that we can all tap into this intelligence and co-create our lives. Talk about that idea of co-creating our lives.
I have noticed as a medium, there is a tremendous support system and enthusiasm with our loved ones in spirit, but then adding to that conversation the greater fabric of the universe. We have so many souls supporting our individual existence because our souls are that important. So the idea of co-creation is when you allow the finite self, your human being, to transcend the circumstances of your life. That takes a little introspection and some time. But when you shift from having life happen to you and having life happen for you, there's a soul shift where your infinite self, that spiritual aspect of yourself, begins to parent the human being. And then you start realizing that there is such a vision and a path for yourself. So once we can transcend our own adversities and realize we are an individual, miraculous distillation of this divine intelligence here to evolve and yet gift our soul's magic upon this earth, it puts us in a place where we start co-creating our lives with the universe. That shift transitions us from this idea of a fated existence where things happen to us to one of extraordinary destiny, where we are simply an artist with a blank canvas. And as much as we can step into that idea of trusting our soul's wisdom, we begin to co-create or co-paint the potential of ourselves, which expands all souls on the planet. That's how important all souls are. It's just not, I think, where everybody has their awareness at this point. But people are awakening, which is really exciting.
And you're helping us wake up. What do you hope? There are so many things that I've taken away from this book, and it's one of those books that I'm going to read over and over again, because it's not you read it and you're done. You actually guide us through many of the stages of being able to communicate, listen in, and it's a really beautiful guide for everyone, especially now, Austyn. We so need this book right now to be in our hearts and not in our fear and where we are so often living in this time of pandemic. And I'm wondering, what do you hope most of all that people take away from your book?
I would love for people to be reminded that they will be fine. When you can lean into the infinite self of the soul, there is an awareness of comfort and support that is undeniable. I have been doing an online meditation for free ever since the pandemic happened, because I wanted to remind people of that updraft, that available 24/7 updraft within us, simply by going within. The circumstances of our life may tornado around us, but within that storm is a very quiet place. That coveted sacred space, when cultivated, is a dynamic lighthouse that every single soul has. So as we become enlightened, which I honestly believe is understanding that that power pack of the universe is a support system, then we can go forward. So out of this adversity, the theme of 2020 is that which is unconscious shall be made conscious. So what's happening is beautiful. We have gone from a state of being asleep about the beauty of our lives. We've gone from a state of being asleep at the wheel. And the opportunity that exists right now is for everybody to notice the value and the jewels in their life and covet them like the most precious treasure. And taking those forward into the world and not forgetting this global classroom we've been in. Our lives should be different. The environment should be different. The entire world can be so positively impacted because we've been given perspective. We've been allowed to witness all of our choices. So when you have such a powerful moment as this, my ultimate hope and vision is that the shared destiny of the planet will be exponentially awakened and expanded and blessed.
And so it is. Oh, Austyn, thank you so much you've really brought this incredible hope. You've touched our hearts. You've opened our minds. You've expanded and inspired our lives with your incredible book, Soul Conversations. A medium reveals how to cultivate your intuition, heal your heart, and connect with the divine. Oh, thank you, Austyn.
Sure, thank you so very much. I'm so honored by this award, and I'm very grateful to Nautilus for this.
And on behalf of the Nautilus Book Awards team, thank you, and thank you all.